You learn very early how to hold things together, not because someone asked you to, not because it was spoken out loud, but because you could feel the weight in the room, the unspoken tension, the gaps where steadiness was missing. Something in you stepped forward quietly to fill that space. You became the one who noticed what needed to be done before it was said, the one who adjusted yourself so others didn't have to, the one who learned how to stay composed when the environment felt uncertain. At the time, this didn't feel like sacrifice. It felt like awareness. It felt like being capable. It felt like growing up faster than others and mistaking that speed for strength. You didn't think of yourself as losing anything. You thought of yourself as helping, stabilizing, making things easier. And because this role brought order where there could have been chaos, because it reduced friction and prevented escalation, it was quietly reinforced. You were relied on, you were trusted, you were seen as mature. And so the role settled into you, not as something you did, but as something you were. Being the responsible one too early often begins in small, invisible ways. It begins with noticing moods before words, with reading the emotional temperature of a room, with sensing when to stay quiet and when to be useful. It begins with learning that your needs can wait, that your feelings can be postponed, that there will be time later to attend to yourself. And because later always seems possible, because postponement feels temporary, you agree internally, again and again, to put yourself second. You learn how to stay steady, even when things feel unsteady, how to make yourself smaller so others can stay balanced, how to carry seriousness without complaint. None of this feels heavy at first. It feels like competence. It feels like being someone who can handle things. And when you are praised for this, when people depend on you, when your calm becomes a pillar others lean on, it confirms the belief that this is who you are meant to be. But responsibility taken on too early does something subtle to your inner world. It shifts your attention outward long before you've had time to fully inhabit yourself. You become skilled at managing situations, managing expectations, managing outcomes, yet less practiced at listening to your own inner signals. You learn to anticipate needs instead of discovering desires. You learn to prioritize stability over exploration. You learn to value reliability more than aliveness. And because these skills are useful, because they are rewarded, because they help you survive and function, they deepen quietly, embedding themselves into how you move through the world. Over time, responsibility stops being a role and becomes a lens through which you see everything, including yourself. The cost of this doesn't arrive all at once, doesn't announce itself as loss. It appears gradually as a kind of narrowing. You may notice that you rarely feel spontaneous, that playfulness feels unfamiliar or slightly uncomfortable, that rest comes with guilt, even when nothing is required of you. You may notice that you are excellent at showing up for others, but hesitant to ask for support yourself, that you instinctively minimize your own struggles because you've learned they can be managed quietly. You may feel a constant low-level tension. Not stress exactly, but readiness, as if you are always prepared to step in, to fix, to stabilize, even when no one is asking. This readiness feels like vigilance, and vigilance becomes your baseline. Being the responsible one too early often means you learn to be strong before you learn to be soft. You learn to be dependable before you learn to be curious. You learned how to endure before you learned how to receive. And because these lessons came early, they feel foundational, like personality traits rather than adaptations. You may tell yourself that this is just how you are, that you are naturally serious, naturally composed, naturally self-sufficient. But underneath that identity, there is often a quiet fatigue, a tiredness that doesn't come from doing too much, but from holding too much for too long without relief. There is also a particular kind of loneliness that comes with early responsibility. It's not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of being unseen in your vulnerability. When people know you as the stable one, the reliable one, the one who can handle things, they rarely look for your cracks. They assume you are fine. They trust your silence. Because you have learned not to burden others, you rarely correct this assumption. You become skilled at containing yourself, at keeping your inner world orderly and private. Over time, this containment can feel like distance, like living behind glass, present but not fully met. You are known for what you provide, not for what you feel. The nervous system carries this pattern deeply. When responsibility arrives too early, the body learns that relaxation is conditional, that rest comes after everything is handled, that safety depends on vigilance. Even in calm environments, even when life is stable, this internal stance remains. You may find it difficult to fully unwind, to let go of control, to trust that things will be okay without your involvement. You may feel restless in stillness, uneasy when nothing demands your attention, because your system has been trained to equate alertness with safety. This isn't anxiety in the dramatic sense. It's a quiet, constant readiness. A sense that you are on call, even when no one is calling. There is often grief here, though it may not feel like grief. It may feel like a vague sadness, a sense of missing something you can't quite name. You may look at others who seem lighter, more expressive, more at ease, and feel a mix of admiration and distance. Not resentment, just a quiet recognition that your path required something different of you. You may wonder what it would have been like to be taken care of, to be allowed to be unsure, to be messy, to be dependent without consequence. These thoughts don't always come with anger. Sometimes they arrive softly as fleeting images of an unlived version of yourself. Understanding the cost of being the responsible one too early does not require blame. It does not require revisiting the past with bitterness or searching for fault. This pattern formed because it was needed. It formed because you were perceptive, capable, attuned. It formed because your presence brought stability, and stability mattered. Your system did exactly what it was designed to do. It adapted to keep things from falling apart. And that adaptation deserves respect. The cost does not negate the intelligence of the response. It simply acknowledges that carrying adult-level responsibility before you were ready left less room for softness, for exploration, for being held rather than holding. Over time, this early responsibility can create a complicated relationship with care. You may feel more comfortable giving it than receiving it. You may downplay your needs even to yourself. You may feel uneasy when someone offers support, not because you don't want it, but because you don't know how to rest inside it. Being cared for may feel unfamiliar, even undeserved, because you learned early that your value came from what you contributed, from how you managed, from how you stayed strong. Letting someone else take the lead can feel like losing balance, like stepping off solid ground. There is no requirement here to change this, no demand to unlearn responsibility or to reclaim a lost childhood. Awareness alone is enough to soften the edges of self-judgment. To recognize that your seriousness has a history, that your self-sufficiency was not a choice made in freedom but a response shaped by necessity. That the part of you that keeps everything running has been working for a very long time without rest or acknowledgement. Sometimes simply seeing this is what allows the system to breathe a little easier, to loosen its grip not because it is told to, but because it no longer feels alone in holding everything together. Being the responsible one too early often means you grew around your feelings rather than through them. They learned to wait. They learned to stay quiet. They learned not to interfere. And they are still there, even if they feel distant, even if they arrive muted or delayed. Nothing is lost. Nothing is broken. The structure you built kept you standing. It kept others safe. It kept life moving. And it also came with a cost that you were allowed to acknowledge without guilt. There is no resolution required at the end of this recognition. No next step. No transformation. It's just the quiet understanding that you have been carrying more than was ever meant for someone so young, that your strength has depth and history. And that noticing this does not take anything away from who you are. It simply allows you to see yourself more fully, not just as the one who holds everything together, but as someone who learned to do so because it mattered, because it was necessary, because it worked. And for now, that understanding can be enough to rest inside, enough to let the weight be named without being lifted, enough to know that your seriousness, your steadiness, your reliability came at a cost, and that cost does not have to be paid again in this moment.